Hello, everyone. Just woke up again. Trust me, I have not been sleeping all this time. Um, well, like, I went back to sleep around like 10:30 ish, 10:40. So the time right now is 12:46. And so I just woke up and um I had a dream. It was very like whoa, like it had my aunt in it, Auntie Renata. That I dreamt about. So basically, it had my aunt, and in the dream, I was basically trying to like reconcile with her, and I somehow we had ended up meeting because I had been trying to meet with her and get in contact with her, and it had not, like, she had not been like receptive, like she didn't want to, like, she had been like trying to avoid me. And so, and I definitely think right now it's bigger than my aunt, but I'm just gonna continue with it because I just freshly woke up, so I need to say it. So we finally met, and we met at like this, I don't want to say community center, but it was like a community center, like where, you know, people come, and we met outside. Like the building was like a rectangular type of building, and it had like, so the entrance to the door, and then it had like, like the handicap ramp that kind of go up, and then it also had like some steps on the side for like the regular people, like the people that are able bodied, that don't um like need the ramp. And I remember, so we got out, so I was standing like outside, and she had come up in a black car. And so she gets out of the car, and I haven't seen her, right? So prior to in the dream, I hadn't seen her in a very long time. And when she got out of the car, I remember, looking at her, and I'm like, she looks like my aunt, but she doesn't look like my aunt. Like, she looks evil. She doesn't look like my aunt. Like, she looks evil. Like, she looks evil. That's all I can just say, is that she looked evil. And so she gets out of this car, and I'm like, hey, it's been a long time. And at first she was like, hey, and so somehow or another, we start getting on my mother. And, because I wanted to reconcile. And so it's been about 3 years. And so I wanted to basically clear the air and, get everything off of my chest and open the floor for her to get everything off of her chest, because it's been a long time. And, yeah. So one way or another, somehow we got on my mother. And when I started talking about my mother, in particular, when I started talking about Christianity, when I started talking about Jesus Christ, she became hostile. And she became very angry and very loud. And she did not want to hear about anything I was saying about Jesus Christ, because I was telling her, and mom was, this, and how she went to seminary, and how she loved the Lord with all of her heart, and I've really grown, and I've really just tried to, live for the Lord, and all of this type of thing. And so it was like every time I would say the name Jesus Christ, she got like it literally was like I literally watched her demeanor change. Like, I literally watched her face shift and change. And so it was like she literally became like, I don't want to say demon possessed, but I literally saw her facial change, her face change. Like, and it was weird. It was like every time I would say Jesus, her face would do that change. But like when I was just talking regular, like, oh, how's so and so, how's this, like her face would change back, like to like regular. But every time I would say Jesus, her face would do that like sinister, like evil change. And she would just get really angry, and she would just get really like, why are you talking about Jesus? Why are you talking about him? Blah, 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 like just angry. And so I remember I was trying to get her to see my point of view. Like, I was trying to, like, well, first I was just trying to talk to her. Like, I was just trying to have a conversation with her. And at that point, I had said Jesus so many times that she just, like, at that point, like, she just did not want to hear anything else that I had to say. And so she was just like, no, like, I don't want, like, no. And, I was trying to talk to her. I'm like, wait. I'm just trying to have a conversation with you, like, it's been a long time, And I remember she entered into the building. And so I followed her. And it was weird. It was like we went up these, like, it was like a library. And it literally was, it was weird. It was weird. It was like, so we entered into the building, but this building was like a lot, like, it was deceiving, because it was like, it looked like a small, like a rectangular building on the outside, and then when you walked in, it was like this huge, humongous library on the inside. It was huge, like levels and levels and levels and levels of floors, and with books and materials and things like that. And so I remember she kept going, like she would go to different floors to avoid me. And so it literally became like a cat and mouse kind of thing. Like, it was like I was literally like trying to go to and find her. Like, I would see her on one floor, and then like I would get the elevator and go up to that floor, and she wouldn't be there. Like, she would be on another floor. And so I would then I would go back down the steps, and I would try to find her. But I noticed something. I noticed that when I would walk around on these floors, that the people weren't like they weren't acting like humans. Like they were acting like robots. Like they were acting very like cyborg ish. So like their movements were very mechanical. There was like no talking. I was the only one really talking in this dream. Like my my aunt was trying to flee. The people weren't moving. Like, I mean, they were moving, but it was like, type, pick up a book, read, put it back, type. Like, it was like that. It wasn't like, okay, yeah, like, like in the library, like, you got them people that, be like whispering, like just talking. It wasn't like that. When I tell you, you could have heard a pin drop. It was so quiet in this library. Like unnaturally quiet. Like why aren't there at least somebody other than me talking? But I noticed that, and I remember in my dream it like freaked me out because I was like, I remember looking and I was looking at this table of people and they all looked alike. Like it wasn't like, there were different, like it was like, okay, you had like a black man, a white man, an Asian man, and a Middle Eastern man, right? And like, let's say they were at the table, but the way in which they behaved and the way in which they moved made them uniform, made them alike. Like clearly they were different, but they weren't different. Like they moved exactly the same. It was weird, and I was just looking at them, and I remember stopping, and I was just looking at, and then I began to look around, like the floor that I was on, and it reminded me of like a science laboratory. It reminded me of a science laboratory. Not in the sense that experiments and stuff were being done, but more so how in a science laboratory everyone has on the same lab coat, everyone has the same uniform on, everyone looks the same in a science laboratory, and everybody is doing the same thing, and they're working for the same goal. Like they're doing the same exact work, so to speak. And so I just remember looking around, and I'm like, what kind of library is this? Like why is everybody like acting like a robot? Like why? Like why is it that everyone, like, there's no talking, everyone is moving weird? Like it was weird. And even so then back to my aunt. So I don't know why she literally was fleeing from me. Like when I tell you, she literally was running away. Like she literally was like, she was fleeing. And I just remember in the dream, I'm like, why is she running away? Like, I'm just trying to talk to her. I'm just trying to have a conversation. Like, why is this woman, is this serious? Is this serious? That she running away? Like, she really running away. And so I remember I had seen her. It was almost like a video game. You know how like when you like you right behind the, like when you are chasing somebody and like you see them coming and then like they disappear and then you try to go there and then like you see them on this side, so then you try to go to that side. Like it was like that. So I saw her like out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, okay, let me go down there because she down there now. So I remember taking this elevator, and it was just weird. It was like the elevator wasn't an elevator, like it was like a teleport kind of elevator, like you got in and you like press the button and you like how it's like in the movies, like where you like get in this like tube thing and like you like crystal, not crystals, but you like, what's the word, like your body like goes into particles and then it like goes up into the air and then you like go somewhere else and you like come back to like your physical body. That's kind of like what it was like. And so it wasn't a normal elevator. And so when I got to the floor below the floor I was on, I remember looking around and I couldn't see my aunt, and I'm like, okay, let me try to look around this whole entire floor before I like try to go somewhere else. So I go, and then I bump into this like host, like this like librarian person, and I remember asking the person, I remember asking her, because it was like, I knew it, like it was a woman. I think she was white, but her skin was like glossy. Like her skin was glossy. She had like a short, like like the kind of hair that kind of like goes out like this, but it's like this and it's like this, and yeah, but yeah, and so she just like, I kind of like ran into her, and she was like, "Oh, how can I help you?" And I was like, "I'm trying to find my aunt, and I don't know where she at. Like she keep going from different floor, trying to run away. I'm trying to find her." And so the librarian, or the person that was there, was like, "Let's see how we can help." Like, that's literally like how she sounded. She was like, "Let's see how we can help." So I'm like, okay. So then she like goes with me throughout the floor, and then we don't see her. So then she's like, "Let's go somewhere else," or like, "Let's go to a different floor." So we're like, okay. So then she comes with me, and then we go to another floor. We don't see my aunt. So we do that a couple times, and then my aunt is like nowhere to be found. So then I'm like, okay, I'll just like try to find her somewhere else. Like, thank you. And she was like, "I'm here to serve you. Like, thank you. Like, it's da da da." Like, and I'm like, okay. So, but in the dream, it was like I wasn't. It was like I thought it was weird. The whole entire dream, like this whole entire dream, I'm like something is weird. Like, this is why is it looking like this? Like, why are people like this? But it was like it had gotten to it. It felt, in a way, it felt like this was normal. Like, it felt like, okay, this is normal. Like, and but I remember being like, wow, like what? But regardless, so then I go into this stairwell, and I remember I saw her go up some stairs. And so then I'm trying to find, like, I'm going up this. So now we're doing like chasing each other up and down stairs. It's just, so then somehow we finally, like, we make it into this one room that doesn't look like this library I was in. It looks like a separate room. Like, it had a table, it had chairs. Like, it looked like a lounge type of area. And I remember we sat down. Like, it was just like, okay. So we sat down. And I'm like, "Why are you running away?" And she was just like, "I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about mom." Like, she didn't want to talk about my mother. And she was like, I don't want to talk about it. I'm trying to live my life. I don't want to talk about it. And so I was like, okay. I'm like, I'm sorry if I rubbed you the wrong way. I'm like, I was just, I thought, that we could talk about it, because if we don't talk about it, then we don't heal from it. But anyway, so I'm like, okay, like, all right. So then, I just start asking her. I'm like, hey, okay, how's so and so, and she's like, he's good, she's good, she's okay, and I'm like, okay, and so then I start talking about Jesus again, and the pleasant, like, oh, like it changed, and then she was like, why are you talking about Jesus again? I thought we were having a good conversation. And I'm like, what in the... I'm like, what? I'm like... And I remember in my dream, I'm thinking, I can't even talk about Jesus with her. Like, I can't even physically say the name Jesus Christ without her getting hostile and angry. And it got to a point where, because I remember she stood up, so I stood up. And so I'm trying to, like, come towards her, and I'm like, Auntie, like, what is wrong? Like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, I can't even talk about Jesus. And I remember it was like it like shifted. So like I was like by this window, and then she was the one in front of me, and she was the one coming towards me. And I was just trying to understand. I'm like, why are you like, what? How come I can't like talk about Christ? And she had got so volatile to the point where I remember in the dream, it was like she had pushed me with the intention of like making me like fall out the window, but I didn't fall out the window. And in fact, like she didn't even touch me. Like it's like she was going like towards like pushing me, and then it was like she was blocked by something, and she couldn't physically put her hands on me. And so then that made her even more angry, because she couldn't like touch me. Like she couldn't physically like put her hands on me and do what she wanted to do. And so then like at the end of the dream, before I woke up, like we were back outside, and I remember I was just trying to talk to her. I'm like, Auntie, like, what's going on? Like, you trying to push me out the window? Like, what? Like, I can't talk about Jesus. And, she was just like, don't go there. Don't go there. Like, don't even talk about that. I don't want anything to do with that. Da, da, da. And I'm like, what are you talking? What are you talking about? I'm like, what are you talking about? She just was not having it. Like, she was just like, no. And yeah. So I definitely think that this dream was deeper than my like I think I have recently been looking at my aunt's Facebook page and stuff like that, and thinking about her. And so it's like, okay, it kind of would make sense why I would dream about her, because like she has kind of like, I've been thinking about her lately. But immediately I felt like when I woke up, I felt like, oh, I'm missing a part. Okay. So it was like when I was still like in this library, and when I was still trying to find her, I remember like going up to this like machine, and I was trying to like locate her. Like it was like a machine where like all you had to do was just like put in information, and see, now my computer, because I'm recording this, and so like every couple minutes my screensaver is coming up, and it's like I just like the screensaver just came up, and so now I was clicking and it wasn't doing anything. I'm like, okay, devil, get out of here. Anyway, so I went up to this machine, and it was a machine where it was like, okay, all you had to do was like put in there like a little bit about them, like what hair color they had, what skin color they had, what eye color they had, like how tall roughly you thought they were, um things like that. And then like those identifiers, and then they would pop up in this database, like their picture would pop up in the database, and then you could click on their picture, and then it would show you where in this building that they were. So I remember going to this machine and trying, entering in this stuff to try to find my aunt. And I remember, so I remember in the dream, I was thinking about Jesus. And I was thinking about Jesus. And I was thinking about, how weird everything felt and how weird everything was looked and everything like that. And I remember the machine. This was creepy. The machine started talking, and the machine was like, no, or it said, Lord help me remember. It said, there is no Jesus Christ. This is the machine talking. It said there is no, like in a like robotic, like automated machine type voice. It was like, there is no Jesus Christ. And then it was like, Jesus Christ cannot be found. And I'm looking at the machine, and I'm like, I was looking for my aunt. And like when I looked at the machine, at the screen, it was still like like that thing where like it showed you that it's still searching. So it was still searching for my aunt, and for it to talk, and then say there is no Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ cannot be found. And I was like, what? I'm like, and I just remember feeling chills. Like in my dream, I felt chills, and I'm like, I just remember being like, whoa, like, yeah, it was just, there is no Jesus Christ cannot be found. And this is a new world. This is a new world. And I'm like, this machine, what is this machine talking about? I mean, well, I know clearly, but it was just freaky that the machine would talk. The machine would then say that, as it's still searching for my aunt. Like, it hasn't even, like, a picture hasn't popped up, nothing's come up, and for it to say that was just like, what in the mess? Yeah. So, man, and that's why, like, when I woke up immediately, I'm like, this was bigger than my aunt being in the dream. Like I feel like my aunt was representative of something, and all of the pieces, all of like the reason why I was in this building, like all of that is for a reason. Even the machine saying what it said, all of this is for a reason and a purpose. And I truly believe, that God has shown me, like, this is what we about to have machines that's yo. It was freaky. It was freaky. Like, and I mean, it was like the library, like I said, no one talked in the library. And so for this machine, and at first it was quiet. Like, at first it was just like, welcome, how can I help you? And then I'm like, okay, let me try to find this woman. So I'm typing in, One moment while I search, and then it's just like, and then next thing I know, it's saying there is no Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ cannot be found. And I'm like, whoa. So, yeah, this dream it was something. But I just had to record it before I, fully started to wake up. I'm still kind of asleep. Well, not kind of asleep, but I'm waking up. But yeah, just wanted to record that. Alrighty. Thanks for watching, and I will see you later. God bless you.